Hello, this is Couch Cube and we are looking at RiftBreaker, the prologue. Big fan of it on Steam, 4 hours. Yeah, and it's free. It was worth a buy actually, that pointed me in the direction of this, so YO man, thank you very much. And what the hell is it? You're not going to believe this, but it's actually a twin stick base builder, right, that's set in a sort of open world alien planet. It's absolutely awesome.
It's probably a matter of time before the natives spot us. Okay, move on to the deposit and start drilling.
We've gathered enough resources to construct a headquarters building.
This being a free prologue means it's not massive, and of course the reason I'm doing this is because we just had a 2-point-something gigabyte update come into it, and I'm thinking, oh, has much changed? Have they added some stuff? Yeah, they've done some things to the energy turbines, there's a few new enemy types as well, but the game gives you quite a few little submissions, and you get to upgrade and build this humongous base, which you can see on the map over on the right, and you've got all your hotkey management stuff over on the left, and yeah, you get to have cooldowns and switch out weapons, and there's loads of stuff on the infantry management page, which doesn't really expand too much on this prologue edition, but the game sort of hints to some massive RPG stuff when it comes to developing your mech itself. And get this, I'm using the pad the whole time. The game's got a really intuitive sort of Halo Wars 2 setup with the hotkeys on the sticks and shoulder buttons, but you're not locked into location when it comes to putting down structures, and of course everything's got to be powered and you have to put those down and link everything up. So it's not just cookie cutter stuff, it is quite focused at space management, as much as a game like StarCraft 2 would be.
We should build up a defensive perimeter around the base.
Let's set up some walls and sentinel towers. Focus our defenses on the western direction.
So let's talk about its real-time strategy elements. And there's kind of energy and the resource in the ground and another metal that you need for further upgrades when it comes to the armories and other materials. You'll see that in a second. But that's kind of the blueprint. You've got it all up there on the top right with the amount of energy needed for the structures that you're building. All the turrets need to be connected and energy managed. And of course you can use wind turbines, and you've got solar panels in there as well. And notice that we've got a dynamic day and night system, and you get wind and rain come in. So both of those two energy sources will excel in either of those conditions. It's very cool stuff. Looking at the visuals, this has actually got ray tracing implemented. I've put it on HD and not 4K to try and squeeze out as much of that gorgeous light mechanic as I can, and I've switched it over because I was getting some of that screen shimmer, a little bit of screen tearing when I was panning the camera over my base. Remember, this is a game in very early stages, but this isn't a weak PC, but I did find a sweet spot, and the game, as you noticed, all of that plant movement and physics when explosions go off is really busy, so it looks great ray tracing on or ray tracing off, to be fair. Let's talk about combat, because it's a very interesting twin stick setup, and of course you've got weapons that you can switch in and out, and there's lots of blood and violence. More importantly, the aliens that come after you, they're really Zerg-like. They sort of travel in massive packs, they have a hierarchy, you've got ranged ones sitting at the back. Some of that has been changed in recent patches, so there's more variety on that front. You'll notice I'm using a melee sword, that's on my other trigger, so fire is on one, melee attack on the other, and that helps me with element. It also gets me out of trouble, and I've got a nice dash on circle, which feels so natural. Keyboard and mouse in this, I just think the pad was so much more comfortable for me, being a console fanboy deep down.
Base is under attack.
I'm not detecting any more hostile creatures.
It even has like a Factoria vibe with its automation. You can see how the turrets are coping there, they need to be upgraded. That fence can be upgraded within this prologue, it's really cool, they can get really high, and you've got to put up with a hell of a lot of waves. I think I've gone on 2 playthroughs That's given me the 4 hours, and I'm looking through for the patch changes, honest, on my third playthrough. I cannot wait for this game to get launched, and think about those controls and these ideas and the influences. It's totally going to get a console release. Please get a console release.
This looks like a large deposit of ore. Build a steel factory in this area and power it with a carbonium power plant.
It kind of highlights pretty early its ideas with having outposts and teleportation around that map. You put these portals down called rifts, and they enable you to instantly go to one another. So you could probably have 4 or 5 of these set up around, and you have to skip to each base to manage it. I love that idea. It's really cool to be able to be in not more than one place at once when it comes to an RTS game, and having an actual guy on the ground, a bit like Factoria, is cool because you can die and there's health to be lost. Supreme Commander Forged Alliance.
Okay, Mr. Riggs, we've got steel production up and running.
So what's wrong with it? Well, nothing. The only thing I crave more is variation on the enemies. And of course, you know, having to put turrets that deal with flyers. We'll see all that. This has got a Starship Troopers vibe. I reckon there'll be massive winged creatures coming at you. I want to see more variety on that front. Of course, it's only a prologue, and dealing with sort of the standard bugs is pretty cool. When the range one comes in, it gets more interesting. And notice on the map that there is a blip over on the left, which is like a hive, like a big base that you've definitely got to take out on the prologue, because it just keeps sending shit at you until you deal with it. And that's great. You sort of go charging in, you build an armory, you make sure you've got all your ammo stocked up, all your hotkeys are working, which you can switch in and out on the prologue as well. So impressed with this for free.
Base is under attack.
There is an official wiki page which is pretty cool, and it says release date fall 2021. So we're going to see it this year, definitely. Maybe there'll be a delay. They might put it back to Christmas or something, because I think this might get a fuss made about it, and it will definitely get looked at maybe by Microsoft. Sony, Jesus, what would they have been up to at the moment? I don't think they're going to be approaching anybody, but I think we could definitely see it on some form of console. How cool would this be on a Switch? But don't worry about that ray tracing.
This looks like a hive of some sort. Let's look inside to see what's occupied.
Staying on the real-time strategy note, I have actually just done a Game Pass top strategy and real-time strategy games. I'll put the link in the description, because we had Iron Harvest put on Game Pass recently, which is actually a great little modern RTS, but this, I don't know what to call it. Yeah, it is real-time strategy, but it's also a base builder, but it's also a damn good twin stick. So, and it's Horde with Wave. A lot going on in the right directions. I'm going to try and convince myself that this is going to go the same way as Valheim and just Valheim and just be completely massive, and everyone's going to be like, we need this on all systems on Earth. Fingers crossed, RiftBreaker. Back on the console side, I'm going to be doing one of the greatest couch co-op lists of all time, spanning all platforms. Going to be one of the biggest videos that's been on the channel. So like and sub, you don't want to miss that one. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you down there.
All the mines that we can.